All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Now, according to a report, the Niners are showing interest in a former Cal Bear. We'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass, marinautoglass.com on the web. Underdog Fantasy, check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, and they'll match you up to your first $100. And Sharp Corners, sports cards and collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove. Call Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264. All right, according to the 49ers Sports Talk on Twitter, the Niners are showing interest in Ashton Davis, the former Cal Bear. Ashton Davis is an interesting guy. He is a New York Jet, and he is from Santa Cruz. He's a Bay Area kid. He's a great athlete, 6'1", about 200 pounds, was the Jets' third-round pick in the 2020 draft. And it hasn't really worked out for him with the Jets, but the Niners are looking for safety help, and they're looking for athletic bodies at the safety position. And Davis would make a lot of sense. He was a track star at Cal who walked on to the football team and made it. And not just made it, became great. He was the Cal special teams MVP as a kick returner. So maybe the Niners have interest in Davis as a kick returner. This guy was late to the game, as I said. He was a track star who kind of found football later in his career, and he's got rare physical traits. I mean, he's as far as instincts, and you think of safety, you think of an instinctive position. So that might be one of the reasons he's struggled the last couple of years, is that he doesn't have great instincts, but he's got size and he's got length and he's got speed. He's also got elite character. You know, he's thought to be a really high character guy. What you'll see when you flip on the film with Ashton Davis is just a tremendous closing burst. He's got just an incredible burst. Now, I think this is a guy who potentially could play the free safety role for a team that plays a lot of cover three and needs someone to cover down the field. And I think Davis could provide some of that. He's definitely a tough kid. He's smart, and he's got elite movement skills. So, you're talking about a guy who probably needs some coaching up, probably needs some tutelage, probably needs a little time to get better, but he's also tough. The downside is you'll see occasionally on his film that he'll lose some balance when he breaks down in space or when he's doing a quick turn. He doesn't have the greatest balance for a safety. I've seen guys with better balance than Ashton Davis, but the one thing that you do have is you have a super athletic kid who's definitely a pro athlete. I mean, there's no question about it. And the Niners at safety right now, you've got Jair Brown, Talanoa Fonga, you got George Odom, and then after that it's Taylor Hawkins, and they're just really, really thin. They could really use 2 or 3 different camp bodies, or at least guys with viable ability to a viable ability to show up in camp and compete for a spot. And that's what Ashton Davis potentially can do. So the local angle is good for sure. The fact that he, played special teams and can help as a return man, in the new return game, that's a positive. You don't just walk on to a team like Cal as a track star and make it unless you've got some real talent. He's got real talent. And I would even go on to say his physical traits for the position are rare. I mean, he's got good size, he's got great speed, and you can see his dominant physical traits for sure. The lack of instincts makes me wonder if he'll ever emerge as anything more than a special teamer. I don't know that he's going to play from scrimmage because I just don't see the instincts there to consistently take the right steps. In the NFL, you're 3 steps in the wrong direction away from getting burned for a touchdown. And, if you take 2 false steps, you're not making the play. So that's where, his instincts and lack thereof kind of burn him a little bit. But I would be very interested in seeing him as just a guy competing for a spot, especially on special teams. Why? Because you're not going to find that many guys who have his size, his length, his speed, his character, his burst. It's all there on film and you can see it. So Ashton Davis, very interesting player. If the Niners are looking, I think it's safe to say the 49ers are looking for a veteran safety or two to kind of complement what they have and supplement whatever they're able to do in the draft. I think they would love to find a good safety in the draft and be able to lean on that player. But they're also looking at what they have and saying, do we, who's out there in the free agent market that we could bring in today that would make our safety competition this summer in training camp that much more severe? And Ashton Davis is a perfect candidate. One, because he's a local kid from Santa Cruz, but maybe more importantly, it's just because he's demonstrated that he's got high-end physical ability and special teams experience. So, I usually don't like these guys who try to convert from track to football because it's just playing football is playing football and running track is running track. And it's just football is so much more physical than track that some guys never get used to the transition and are always kind of under physicaled as far as how they play the game. Davis, I thought showed some really good things at Cal. When I saw the Jets draft him, I thought, there's a chance that he's going to make that team and become a player for them. But here we are a couple years in, and it really hasn't happened. Now he's had some injuries, but maybe with the new return rules, maybe the Niners like him for that. But you're talking about a guy with good height, good length, good speed, long arms, who can make plays. And he's a high character guy. And if he's learned to play the position over the last couple of years, maybe he'll be a better Niner than he was as a Jet. The thing that I would jump out and say, the reason I would sign him is the closing burst. He's got a great burst. And he definitely looks like he can cover the ground playing free safety in a cover three. And I would imagine you're going to see the 49ers play a lot of cover three this year. Tough kid. As I said, he'll take some false steps. He'll have some balance issues. He won't break down clean every single time. He's more of a, take a shot on an athlete than he is as, hey, you really got a player that you can slate in as a from scrimmage safety. To this point, he hasn't really proven that he can play from scrimmage, but an interesting name nonetheless. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.